What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bleep Bloop podcast, another episode. If this is your first time here, I want to say thank you for tuning in to the podcast. And if you are a returned listener, thank you for continuing your quest with me. You can check out all the episodes and updated game information at bleepbloopodcast.wordpress.com. You can also check me out on social media, on Twitter specifically, at bleepbloop.pod, P-O-D. That's at X, not Twitter. We also have a YouTube channel, Bleep Bloop Podcast, where you can check out the headlines, which is gaming news. We won't cover news or reviews here on the podcast, but you can find the headlines there, weekly headlines, in addition to first looks of games, maybe demos, and coming real soon, some review stuff, and just some more great content there as well. All right, so today's topic: game magazines rule forever. I remember when I was little and I heard about the Nintendo Power magazine. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, what? They have a magazine? That, like, what kind of magical wonders does this thing have? And then I remember being in middle school, high school, and I had friends that had Electronic Games Monthly or Electronic Gaming Monthly. I always forget. EGM, though. That's what I remember. Game Pro magazine and Nintendo Power. I remember my friend had it in his bag. He'd bring it and he would let me look at it. But then I would always want to like take it home and be like, hey man, I need my magazine back. And I'd give him his magazine, and it just was so cool to me that, because I didn't come from a family where I had games all the time. I mean, I didn't get my first real system. I had an NES when I was little, but I didn't get my next official system until I was like a teenager, and that was the PlayStation. So, and even when I did get the system, it wasn't like I had games that I could play. You know, I only had what I had, and unless I borrowed games, that was really how I played games. So to be able to like look at these magazines and read reviews of games that I wanted to play, I wanted to experience. I remember in one magazine, the what was it? The Panasonic Jaguar, I think that was, or the Jaguar. All I remember was it was a Jaguar. And I was like, I thought that system was like something that just was impossible to find. Like, it was a hard to find system. And then I found out that there was a kid that actually had one. And all I wanted to do was go to his house and play. But we weren't like really close friends, so, you know, that never happened. But then I had another buddy. He had a Sega. My stepbrother, he had a Sega. I had a Nintendo, you know, like that's all I had. So, or like when my friend had NBA Jam, I go to his house, we play NBA Jam. So looking at these magazines was my way of being able to connect to the video game world, being able to experience these games that other people grew up on. I didn't grow up on them. I didn't play a lot of them. I didn't experience a lot of them. So my game knowledge was very limited. It wasn't until I started to get my own systems that I was able to buy my own magazines. But by that time, a lot of these magazines just weren't around no more. You still had you had the PlayStation magazine, you had the Xbox official magazine, but like EGM and GamePro were kind of fading out. But there was one that was kind of creeping in, and this was around the time when I really started going to GameStop a lot, and that was Game Informer. And I remember, if you got the Power Up Rewards membership, you also got a membership to Game Informer, so you get Game Informer in the mail. So I immediately subscribed, and I just got tons of titles. Like I got so many that I just couldn't read them. Because like now I'm an adult, and then that interest in those magazines just wasn't there like it was when I was a kid. But I used to love the cover art. Then when I started becoming a streamer and I really put my gaming room together, I put all my Game Informers in document protectors so I could pin them on the wall, but I wouldn't damage the magazine itself. I remember doing that. And then anytime I'd go into GameStop, I would renew my membership, but make sure that I got my hard copy of my Game Informer magazine. And now it's gotten to a point where they still do offer them hard copy, but I think they're trying to shift to digital because digital is just cheaper. But I hope they never like do away with hard copy, because I love still having at least one magazine. And I mean, there's new ones out there, like there's Retro Gamer, there's still PC Gamer, and I think there might be a few other, you know, obscure titles, but those are like the staple ones, right? So for me, game magazines are always gonna like rule. And the thing I love about Game Informer now, and I even when I started this podcast, I had a monthly episode where I would cover like whatever the issue like had inside of it. So some of the big cover stories, some of the previews and reviews. I try not to cover all of it because, you know, I didn't want to like, I'm not officially sponsored by them or anything. So I don't want to like, you know, just hawk their content, right? Like that's the value of the magazine. Go subscribe to it, check it out. But I wanted to like showcase the value of it, because to me it was important that people understood there's still a product out there for you to appreciate and enjoy. Like not everybody always has their phone or has their computer. Like, so sometimes opening a magazine and looking at those still pictures and reading those articles and letting your imagination explore what the words are, the pictures it's painting, so you get an idea of what this game could potentially be that they're talking about. You know, I mean, you could always go on the internet and watch a video nowadays, but so there's something nostalgic and something to be appreciated about reading text and seeing still images to help shape our perception of things. And I think that should always be appreciated. So for me, to all the magazines that are published out there, I just got to say, please don't ever go away. You know, like, I even took a part-time job at GameStop briefly. And one of the things that I loved was getting a new copy of Game Informer. I mean, just recently, I happened to go into a GameStop and I was lucky enough to get 3 issues because they said, hey, we're supposed to sell them, but nobody ever buys them. So, you know, here, if you want them, I mean, we just throw them away. So I got 3 issues. I got, because the last one that I had when I subscribed was Sea of Stars, but I got the Armored Core Fires of Rubicon cover, Diablo 4, and the Sonic Superstars covers. So those are the most recent titles that I got, or covers that I got. So Game Informer, if you're listening, keep it going, please. You have a lifelong loyal supporter. I mean it. I'm going to try to reach out to them and be like, is there any way I can just do a subscription directly to you so I can just get the hard copy issues? You know, like that's how much I value this magazine. And if you're a gamer, if you appreciate, you know, game magazines, then show support, because a lot of this stuff, man, in a few years, it's going to disappear and we're not going to see it no more. And this new generation, they're growing up on reading the IGNs and reading the GameSpots and reading the Kotakus and the PC Gamers online. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is something to be appreciated with being able to pick up a magazine off the newsstand or from the Barnes and Noble, from your local bookstore, whatever the case may be, and being able to enjoy that, you know, listening with your headphones on and just vibing out, just, you know, reading something to gain the information instead of watching a video that sometimes, quite honestly, could be subjective. You know, a lot of times these articles are based off their interactions directly with the developers. A lot of the content you see is based off of somebody gathering the resources and writing a piece that is either going to be an unbiased perspective, or it's going to be a hit piece, for whatever reason. So, or it's going to be very vague and quick because they're like, hey, I got a free code, check out this game. They're going to do a quick video and then they're never going to go back to that game ever again. So it's like, that's kind of the environment that we're in. So, yeah, I love video game magazines. Out of all of them, I think my favorite probably was either EGM or Game Pro, until Game Informer came around. When Game Informer came around, then that was my number one. That was the main one that I stuck to, and still to this day. Like, I bought some other ones here and there. Like, I think I bought one copy of Retro Gamer. I bought another one that was like Vintage Games and something. And occasionally I bought PC Gamer, because PC Gamer was cool too. They showed a lot of stuff that you wouldn't see on console, obviously, hence the name. But yeah, the one I really stuck to the most was just Game Informer. And this episode is by no means sponsored or affiliate links or anything like that. By the way, check the links in the description. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, but it's just my appreciation for those specific titles. So yeah, what about you? Did you read game magazines? Did you borrow them from friends? Do you have a collection of them? Is there a particular one that stands out to you? I'd love to hear it. Let me know. You can leave me a comment at my email, bleepblooppod@gmail.com, BLEEPBLOOPPOD@gmail.com, or you can check me out on Twitter, bleepblooppod or bleepblooppodcast. Well, X is what it's called now, @X. And you can leave a comment on one of the videos on YouTube. All right. So until the next video, y'all, or until the next. See, that's how many videos I record. All right. So until the next one, y'all. Peace.